What's up, YouTube? Pastor Matt here. Hey, listen, as some of you know, I just endured the fiery trial of the PCA ordination transfer exams. That's right, 6 hours in the committee, 4 hours on the floor, sermon, Hebrew exegesis paper, theological paper, all that grilling. And I wanted to share one of the moments from my floor exam, which is where we were going through the Christian history section. And the person doing the examination began in the very early church, and generation by generation began to ask me questions about some of the most important men of the early church fathers, the patristics, the Ante-Nicean fathers, those who were before the Nicene Council in 325. And I knew the figures. I knew who most of them were. I got most of the questions right, I suppose, as far as that goes. But as I was being drilled, I realized that early Christianity is a weakness in my theology. And so I sought to remedy that weakness by reading some of the words of the early Christians themselves, which is why I turned to the book that I'm reviewing right here, right now. That would be The Early Christians in Their Own Words by Eberhard Arnold. And as you can see here in the subtext, it says a source book of original writings including texts by Tertullian, Hermas, Justin, Ignatius, Polycarp, Irenaeus, Origen, Clement of Alexandria, and extra biblical sayings of Jesus. I have to tell you how greatly I have enjoyed this book in the couple of weeks that I've been reading it now. Let me tell you what's in it. A couple of really important things. First of all, some of the earliest Christian writings are quoted at length or in their completion, including the Didache, which was one of the earliest post-biblical canon writings, the complete letter of 1 Clement, the 7 letters of Ignatius. And so you have some of the very early first-hand writings of those who knew the apostles, and that's just amazing to even think about that. They were trained by the apostles. Of course, the big three from the first century carrying into the second century, that would be Clement, Ignatius, and Polycarp. Their stories are told in here, their first-hand writings. A lot of it is about suffering, persecution, and martyrdom. In fact, there are several complete stories of persecution or martyrdom that are recounted in this book, including that of Polycarp, who was burned at the stake at age 86. An incredible story. It's contained in this book. I really enjoyed much of the writings of Justin. Justin the apologist is quoted proliferously in this book. And let me just share with you, if I can, what this book is. Okay, so it starts off with a long essay on the witness of the early church by Eberhard Arnold, who was a scholar of the first couple of centuries. It begins with Christianity in relation to the state, society, and martyrs. A lot of quotations from pagans, actually, of how much they despised the Christians, talking about how they were rumored to eat their children, cannibalism. They were rumored to do all kinds of wicked things. Of course, lies have always been told about Christians for a very long time, of course. There are several other sections that are important related to the persecution and martyrdom of some of the saints. We have some of the early manuals of worship. Of course, there are some sayings of Jesus and the apostles. Some of the sayings very, very closely resemble those of the Gospels. Others are a bit stranger to those of us who are versed in our New Testaments and don't sound like Jesus. And of course, some of those are apocryphal of origin. But I've really greatly appreciated and learned so much from this book. Now, a lot of it is what it is, just a paragraph quotations at a time here. A paragraph from Justin, another paragraph from Justin, another paragraph from Justin, excerpted from their works in broad categorical order. So while some documents are contained in their entirety, a lot of these are just excerpts. Like here's an excerpt from the first letter of Clement. Just flipping through here. Tertullian is quoted at length. Tatian is quoted at length. Ignatius. Athenagoras, never even heard of him before, but I greatly appreciated some of the things that he had to say. Let me just give you a taste here before I close up. This is a quotation from Ignatius in one of his letters. Just a paragraph. Bear with me. Listen to this. Why have I given myself up to death, fire, the sword, and the wild beasts? To be near the sword is to be near God. To be in the midst of wild beasts is to be in the midst of God, only it must be done in the name of Jesus Christ. To suffer with him I endure everything, for he who became the perfect man is powerful in me. Let no man deceive himself. Judgment will come even over the heavenly powers, even over the splendor of the angels and over the earthly and invisible principalities, unless they believe in the blood of Christ. Let him grasp it who can. What a powerful paragraph there by Ignatius. So I've greatly appreciated reading this. Again, a lot of it's just punctiliar paragraphs, short thoughts excerpted from here and there. Others are entire letters that are provided for the modern reader in their completion. What I want to do, as I always do, is post a link to this book to Amazon so you can hop over there and get it. Strongly recommend this book. I've greatly profited from it for my own soul's sake. Wish I had read it before the floor exam, though, because I know a lot more about Justin, Tertullian, and Ignatius now than I did before, although I did manage to squeak by that trial of its own right. All right, so link to Amazon in the description. Toggle down, click on to Amazon, go get this and benefit from the saints and martyrs who came before us. Thanks for checking in. Love you lots. Talk to you later.